we'll be discussing the electric car, its environmental implications, and its advantages and disadvantages compared to a conventional car.
Nowadays, most cars are gasoline cars. Typical gas cars are driven by an internal combustion engine. Most of the technology is located under the hood. The engine is made of four main parts. There's the flat plane crankshaft in red, pistons in gray, in motion in their cylinders, which are shown in blue, and the flywheel gear mechanism in black. Gasoline is mixed with air and fed into cylinders with a piston in motion. The piston, under inertia, compresses. A spark plug ignites in the cylinder, and the resulting explosion causes gases to expand. This pushes out the piston, and an outlet valve opens, letting out the exhaust. The piston is connected to the crankshaft, which in turn is connected to the wheels through gear mechanism, and its rotation drives the car. This motion, in conjunction with a multitude of other moving parts, is responsible for motion.
An electric car, as the name suggests, runs on electricity. It has three main parts: the zero-emission electric motor, a series of batteries, and a transmission to transfer the motor's energy to the wheels. Some cars also put in motors at the wheels instead of transmission. There are two main types, each with its own set of advantages and disadvantages. The battery-powered electric cars rely solely on a battery to power the engines. While driving, battery power is used to drive the motor. Instrumentation displays the amount of charge left. Hybrid electric cars have an electric engine in parallel to a combustion engine, and they both work in union to drive the car. From the outside, electric cars look very similar to a conventional car. However, it is significantly different under the hood, varying with the type. Electric cars have charging coupling, which can be plugged in to charge the battery. The cars can be charged anywhere with an outlet or at charging stations.
There are several advantages to driving an electric vehicle. The most important is the fact that the vehicle itself releases zero emissions as it runs purely on electricity. And if the electricity used to charge is purely renewable, there is absolutely no pollution whatsoever. It is also cheaper to drive from a fuel economic point of view. They run fairly quietly. This is generally a good thing as it doesn't add to noise pollution. Most cars utilize regenerative braking technology where the electric motor running backwards to generate some charge for the batteries. And in most places, government subsidizes cost and tax benefits to electric car owners, which is a big plus.
Electric cars also have several disadvantages. They can take anywhere from 18 to 16 hours to fully charge, and when plugged into a home outlet, it increases the electricity bill. The range for a fully charged electric car is about 100 miles, which is significantly lower than that of a gasoline car. Higher-end models do have better range, but are pretty expensive for the average household. Battery life is also of significance and may need to be replaced after a certain number of miles. Charging stations for electric cars are also not that common in most places, thus making it hard to refuel on the go. Charging also takes significantly longer than filling up a car.
To look from an environmental perspective, we need to consider the source that generates the electricity used for charging the car. Different power plants produce different carbon emissions for supplying the same battery power. Charging with coal-generated electricity releases more emission per car than that of a gasoline engine, whereas charging with renewable and nuclear sources gives electric cars the edge and makes them more environmentally friendly. Manufacturing produces sulfur hexafluoride, which is 20,000 times more effective in global warming than carbon dioxide, making it the greatest environmental cost incurred by electric cars. Currently, this effect is rather minimal due to the small production quantities of electric cars in comparison to the billions of tons of carbon dioxide emissions throughout the world.